You ever notice how every time people talk about saving the planet, they suddenly get this dramatic look in their eyes, like they've just been personally appointed by the universe to carry out some cosmic rescue mission. They stand there clutching their reusable water bottle like it's a sacred relic, as if that little piece of aluminum is going to single-handedly reverse 4.5 billion years of planetary history. These are the same people who can't keep a house plant alive for more than a week, but now they're convinced the fate of an entire celestial body hangs on whether they remembered to separate their glass from their cardboard. The planet isn't the one in danger here. We are. And the funniest part, we don't even realize it. We're running around like superheroes in movies nobody asked for, trying to save a planet that never asked for help, never needed it, and probably doesn't even know we're here. If Earth had a consciousness, and I'm not saying it does, it would look at us the way you look at an ant walking across your shoe. You don't hate it. You don't love it. You just don't care. It's an accidental inconvenience. That's us. Planet Earth's accidental inconvenience. People really think the planet is sitting somewhere trembling, scared of plastic straws. You know how insulting that is. This thing survived formation under cosmic violence that would make your worst natural disaster look like a sparkler at a kid's birthday party. It got smacked around by meteorites the size of cities. It boiled, it froze, it cracked open and spilled molten lava all over itself, like some kind of volcanic temper tantrum. And after billions of years of that, here we come, pointing at a grocery bag blowing across the street like, oh no! Oh no! The planet can't take it! We must intervene! The planet has eaten continents for breakfast. It created dinosaurs and then erased them like a bad drawing. You think your light bulbs are stressing it out. But that's the human ego for you. We've always overestimated our importance. We act like guests who showed up uninvited, spilled wine all over the carpet, broke a lamp, and now think we deserve an award for wiping the table with a napkin. Meanwhile, the host, this big blue spinning rock, is looking at us thinking, oh, you done. Because if it ever gets tired of our nonsense, it won't send a polite eviction notice. It'll just shake a little, shrug a bit, open a crack here, send a wave there, cough out a volcano or two, and boom. Problem solved. It gets rid of us the way you shake lint off your sweater. And you know what really gets me? The idea that humans think they're some sort of guardians of Earth. Guardians? Like we're hired security guards for the universe. Imagine that. Humans as cosmic security. We can't even guard our own data. Every week some company gets hacked. Somebody's passwords get leaked. Somebody's identity gets stolen by a teenager who still lives with his parents. But now, out of nowhere, we're supposed to be guarding the planet. We can't guard a neighborhood without forming a committee and arguing about whether the meeting should have snacks. Yet here we are, acting like the planet's personal bodyguards. And don't get me wrong. Yes, we create a ton of garbage, mountains of it. We're the only species that produces trash that outlives us by centuries. Bears don't leave behind plastic. Wolves don't drop styrofoam containers in the forest. Birds don't wrap their leftover worms in shrink wrap. But instead of admitting, hey, maybe we're the messy ones, we jump straight into drama mode. Humanity is destroying the earth. No. Humanity is destroying humanity. The earth will be fine. It's survived worse tenants than us. The arrogance is everywhere. People say things like, save the trees. Save the trees. The trees have been around for hundreds of millions of years. They covered the earth before we had language, plumbing, or the ability to complain on the internet. Trees were here before any of our precious civilizations, and they'll be here after those cities turn into dust. You don't save trees. Trees save you. They literally pump oxygen into your lungs while you're busy printing out flyers about saving them. And then there's this obsession with the end of the world. You ever hear people talk about that? Oh, the end of the world is coming if we don't act now. The end of the world. Please. We don't have that kind of power. We're not bringing down a planet. We're bringing down ourselves. The world isn't ending. The world is just ending us. And honestly, if it happens, it's probably overdue. Maybe we need a reboot. A clean slate. A fresh install with fewer pop-ups. But listen to people panic about pollution, emissions, climate change, big issues. Not saying they don't matter, but the way people talk about them, you'd think the sun is sitting up there with a clipboard taking attendance. Oh no, the humans are misbehaving. Time to roast them a little. We forget the sun doesn't care either. It burns for its own reasons, not for us. One little solar burp and all our satellites go down, our grids fail, our devices die, and we suddenly remember that nature holds all the cards. And the planet, it has one job: keep moving. It doesn't check what we're doing. It doesn't file reports. It doesn't call meetings. It orbits. It shakes. It erupts. It shifts. It grows. It destroys. It rebuilds. It's a constant cycle. The only reason we panic is because we think the cycle is about us. We're like a character in a long movie who shows up for 10 seconds and thinks the entire plot revolves around him. And look at how sensitive we are. The moment the temperature changes by 2 degrees, people start screaming, "This is it! We're doomed." Meanwhile, Earth has gone through temperature swings so extreme that entire ecosystems disappeared and new ones formed. Your great-great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents weren't around to complain about it because nature doesn't issue warnings. It just does what it does. If it gets too hot or too cold for us, that's not the planet failing. That's us not being built for the long game. But what really amuses me is the way people talk about Mother Nature as if she's this gentle, nurturing being stroking our heads at night. Mother Nature. This is the same mother that drops hurricanes like bowling balls, sends earthquakes through cities, and casually tosses tsunamis across coastlines like skipping stones. If that's a mother, she's the kind that forgets your birthday and burns the house down while trying to make soup. Yet here we are acting like she needs our protection. If Earth had lips, it'd laugh in our faces. But the narrative continues. People join causes, sign petitions, march in the streets, chanting about saving the Earth. And it's good to care, great even. But the way we frame these things shows how detached we are from reality. We talk about fighting for the planet like it's a political campaign. We point at pollution and say, this is killing the Earth. No, it's killing you. The Earth will digest everything we've ever created. Every plastic bottle, every skyscraper, every car, phone, chair, building, tool bridge, everything. Give it enough time and the planet will grind it all back into sediment, minerals, dust, and memory. We're temporary. The planet is not. And maybe that's what scares people. Not the pollution, not the climate, not the disasters. What scares people is the idea that they don't matter nearly as much as they think they do. That the universe isn't watching them. That the planet isn't dependent on them. That life doesn't need them. People panic because they confuse significance with survival. Just because something outlasts you doesn't mean it needed you in the first place. The entire story we tell ourselves about saving the planet is a self-centered fairy tale. And deep down, we know it. Deep down, people know they can't save something that survived before they evolved and will continue long after they're gone. They're not trying to save the planet. They're trying to save their version of comfort. Their roads, their cities, their electric bills, their grocery stores, their ability to sit inside air-conditioned rooms complaining about how hot it is outside. That's what saving the planet really means. Don't disrupt my stuff. And sure, we should clean up after ourselves. Absolutely. We should stop poisoning our air and water. It's stupid not to. But do it because you want your kids to breathe. Do it because you want your food to grow. Do it because you want to live longer, healthier lives. Don't pretend you're protecting a mighty, ancient, cosmic force from the threat of soda cans. The planet isn't worried. The planet isn't nervous. The planet isn't fragile. We are. We're fragile mentally, emotionally, physically, structurally. One good volcanic blast, and half our technology becomes obsolete. One big earthquake, and our buildings crumble like poorly stacked pancakes. One asteroid, just one, And we joined the dinosaurs in the museum of things that thought they were permanent. So when people talk about saving the planet, I just smile. The planet doesn't need your saving. You need your saving. Because when the earth finally gets tired of us, it'll do what it's always done: reset, refresh, renew, rebuild. It'll grow new forests, raise new mountains, form new oceans, evolve new species, and continue spinning through the universe as if nothing ever happened. And the only evidence that we were ever here will be whatever layer of strange, shiny debris gets buried in the rock for some future species to dig up and laugh at. The planet isn't in danger. We are. You ever notice how the people who talk the loudest about saving the planet are the same ones who can't even save themselves from their own habits? They're out there lecturing everyone about responsibility while their own lives look like a garage sale of bad decisions. They shout about conservation while they're throwing away half their groceries because they forgot the lettuce existed. They yell at strangers for using plastic while they've got a closet full of fast fashion made by some company that dumps dye straight into a river. We've created this whole fantasy where humans are the wise, noble protectors of Earth, standing on guard like guardians of the galaxy, when half the population can't even guard their own passwords. And the other half keeps falling for pyramid schemes disguised as wellness retreats. And the governments, don't get me started. These are the same people who can't fix a pothole without holding a press conference and forming 2 committees. They lose paperwork like it's a hobby. They misplace billions of dollars like someone misplacing a sock in the dryer. They can't keep their own offices running without power outages, glitches, scandals, or someone spilling coffee on something important. And we expect them to save the planet. These people can't even save the department printer. They have more crises inside their buildings than outside of them. Half the time, they don't even know what their own policies mean. They sign something, shake hands, smile for the camera, and then go home, not realizing they've accidentally banned the one thing the policy was supposed to protect. Humans think they're exceptional, but they can't even manage themselves. You ever look around and see the level of chaos people live with? They walk around stressed out about everything. Jobs, bills, relationships, drama, their neighbor's dog barking, the coffee being too hot or too cold or too anything. People are constantly on edge, juggling responsibilities they created themselves, complaining about problems they caused themselves, blaming everyone else for the mess they're responsible for. How do you expect a species that can't consistently drink enough water to protect the biosphere? We can't even keep our minds clean, let alone the oceans. The pollution didn't start in rivers or skies. It started right between people's ears. That's the real toxic waste the nonsense we feed ourselves every day. Endless misinformation swirling around, conspiracy theories multiplying like mold, prejudices passed down like family recipes, gossip wrapped up as truth. It's mental pollution, emotional pollution, moral pollution. We've got more garbage in our brains than in any landfill. And that's saying something, because we've built landfills so big they're visible from space. But at least you can bulldoze a landfill. You try bulldozing a bad idea out of someone's head, you'll need a construction crew, a priest, and a miracle. People preach about saving the environment while living on social media platforms that suck more energy than a small country and suck more sanity than a malfunctioning vacuum cleaner. They scroll for hours, comparing themselves to strangers, arguing with people they've never met, sharing articles they didn't read, liking photos they didn't care about, and then stepping back into the real world wondering why they feel empty inside. You can't pour poison into your brain all day and expect to walk around acting like a nature guru. And it's funny how people want to fix the world by yelling at each other. They scream across the internet, "We have to save the planet," while calling everyone who disagrees with them idiots, monsters, or worse. They fight in comment sections as if the fate of the earth depends on who wins a flame war at 2 a.m. You can't build unity out of hostility. You can't save the world while trying to verbally destroy half the population. The planet isn't dying from litter. It's dying from the lack of basic communication skills. Then there's the hypocrisy. Oh, it's everywhere. People fly halfway across the world to attend climate conferences, staying in massive hotels, eating imported food, leaving behind enough carbon footprint to power a small town. They speak passionately about reducing emissions and then get into 3 separate vehicles to go back to the airport. They talk about sustainable living while wearing clothes shipped from 8 different countries. They talk about protecting nature while building giant convention centers right on top of it. It's like watching a doctor smoke during surgery. We've turned saving the planet into a marketing slogan, a branding strategy, a way to sell merchandise. You want to look like you care. Buy this eco-friendly bottle. Buy this organic bag. Buy this sustainable hoodie. Buy this recyclable phone case. Saving the planet has become another shopping category. Click, add to cart, proceed to checkout. We even invented greenwashing, corporations pretending to care by slapping a leaf icon on something toxic and calling it environmentally friendly. Look at us, too lazy to make real change, too smart to make honest change, so we just fake the whole damn process. And the craziest part, we think technology is going to save us. Every year some company announces a new miracle gadget, a breakthrough device that's supposed to solve the climate crisis. It's always something sleek, futuristic, glowing, expensive. But you look closer and realize they've created a machine that uses 10 times the energy of the problem it's trying to fix. This device will reduce emissions. Yeah, by emitting more heat than the sun. This robot will clean the ocean. Sure, until it breaks down and becomes another piece of ocean garbage. We keep inventing solutions that create new problems. It's like trying to put out a fire with a flamethrower. And the people who cling to technology as the savior of the world, they're the same ones who can't get their smart home devices to connect without resetting the router. We'll build AI to manage the environment. You can't even update your phone without losing half your photos. How about we slow down before we hand the climate over to a machine that can't tell the difference between a tree and a lamp post? Humans love pretending they're doing something meaningful while actually doing nothing at all. They post inspirational quotes about nature with captions like, "Protect our home," while they sit indoors all day, breathing filtered air, surrounded by plastic, ordering fast food in disposable containers, leaving their lights on, AC blasting, and car engine running. They think the post counts as activism. They think pressing share somehow reduces carbon footprints. Social media turned everyone into environmental influencers. Experts who haven't touched grass in months, but have a lot to say about soil quality. And let's talk about greed, the real engine behind everything. Companies don't pollute because they hate the planet. They pollute because pollution is cheap. Humans don't change their habits because change is inconvenient. We always choose the path of least resistance, even if it leads straight off a cliff. And we justify everything with excuses. I'm too busy. It's not my job. My one action won't make a difference. Multiply those excuses by 8 billion people, and suddenly you've got a species sprinting toward extinction while complaining that the Wi-Fi is slow. Think about it. We can't even save relationships that matter to us. We can't save friendships, marriages, families, communities. We can't save peace, dignity, empathy, integrity. We lose those things every day because we don't know how to nurture anything that doesn't offer immediate gratification. And somehow, we're supposed to save a planet, a massive, ancient, powerful ecosystem, a whole world of forces we barely understand. We can't even save ourselves from our own stupidity. Humans operate like they're the protagonists of existence. Everything revolves around them. Everything depends on them. Everything must be controlled by them. But the truth is, we're like children driving a car with no idea what the pedals do. We keep pressing things, turning things, pushing buttons we shouldn't, and then acting surprised when the vehicle spins out of control. And instead of pulling over or reading the manual, we double down and blame the road. We love blaming everything except ourselves. Blame the corporations, blame the industries, blame the weather, blame the oceans, blame the cows, blame the straws, blame the government. Just never blame the people buying the things, voting for the things, demanding the things, or choosing convenience over responsibility. Nobody wants to look in the mirror because the mirror doesn't lie, and humans hate honesty almost as much as they love comfort. If humanity really wanted to save anything, it would start by saving itself from itself. Clean the mind before the river. Fix your motives before you fix the climate. Heal your greed before you heal the soil. But we don't want to hear that because that requires real work. And if there's one thing humans avoid with Olympic level skill, it's real work. You'd rather invent a new app to track recycling than actually recycle. People talk a big game about saving the world, but look at how they treat each other. Backstabbing, lying, exploiting, manipulating, dividing, hating. You can't build a sustainable planet on an unsustainable species. It's like trying to construct a skyscraper on a foundation made of pudding. The truth is simple. You can't save the planet when you can't even save yourselves. You ever notice how people talk about the earth like it's this delicate little soap bubble floating through space, and the slightest touch from humanity is going to make it pop? They clutch their pearls and gasp every time someone mentions climate change, storms, melting ice, as if the planet is lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines, waiting for us to sign some DNR form. Meanwhile, the planet is out there stretching, cracking, erupting, freezing, boiling, shifting continents like they're furniture. People keep acting like Earth is fragile. Earth isn't fragile. Earth is unstoppable. We're the ones held together with glue and anxiety. And the funniest part is that the planet doesn't have to lift a finger to get rid of us. It doesn't need to wage a war or send a warning. All it has to do is get bored. Just a little shrug, a slight twitch, a shift in atmosphere here, a tectonic adjustment there, a sneeze of an asteroid, and suddenly humans aren't the dominant species anymore. Just a rumor in the fossil record. People always imagine the end of humanity as some dramatic Hollywood explosion, some big cinematic showdown. But nature doesn't do drama. Nature does efficiency. Humans go out the same way insects do, quietly, systematically, and completely. Think about the arrogance of believing the earth needs our help. The earth doesn't need anything from us. Not our approval, not our charity, not our activism, not our speeches. It was fine before we got here. It'll be fine long after. You could remove every single human being tomorrow, and within 50 years the planet would be greener, cleaner, healthier, and more vibrant than it's been in centuries. Forests would reclaim cities. Rivers would purify themselves. Wildlife would stroll through what used to be shopping malls. You'd have bears using escalators and birds nesting in ATM machines. The earth recovers the moment we stop interfering. People don't want to hear that, though. It bruises their ego. They want to believe they're essential, that the earth's fate hinges on their shopping habits and recycling bins. They want to feel noble, heroic, like they're fighting an epic battle against the forces of destruction. But nature doesn't need heroes. Nature doesn't care. Nature isn't sitting in a corner somewhere crying over plastic bottles. Nature is out there chewing through mountains, swallowing islands, creating deserts, building hurricanes like their carnival rides. Nature is a machine, and machines don't care who gets caught in the gears. And you can see how clueless people are by the way they react to natural disasters. Every time a flood hits or a volcano erupts, they act shocked, offended even, like the planet broke some kind of agreement. You can't do that! We live here! As if the earth ever signed a lease. As if humanity ever had ownership. No, you're just tenants. Temporary ones. And nature is the landlord who shows up unannounced whenever it feels like it, knocking down walls, rearranging the furniture, installing a lava feature in your living room. But humans don't think in those terms. Humans think they're permanent. They think their buildings, governments, borders, and beliefs are carved in cosmic stone. They think all their little achievements, skyscrapers, satellites, smartphones, are going to last forever. Meanwhile, one good solar flare and the entire digital world goes out like a bad bulb. One real geomagnetic tantrum, and suddenly people are standing in their living rooms confused about how to boil water because Google isn't there to walk them through it. That's how dependent humans have become. That's how disconnected they are from the reality of nature's power. The earth doesn't even have to destroy us. It just has to unplug us. Humans think they're tough because they can build stuff. Tall buildings, long bridges, big cities. They marvel at them like they've created gods out of concrete. But you let a single crack form in the wrong place, and the whole thing collapses. Nature doesn't have these problems. A tree falls. The forest doesn't need a safety inspector. A mountain crumbles. There's no lawsuit. A valley floods. The fish don't file complaints. Nature breaks and rebuilds itself constantly. Humans break and file paperwork. What's funny is that humans like to pretend they're in a battle with the planet. They talk about fighting climate change, stopping natural disasters, preventing ecosystem collapse. You don't fight the earth. The earth fights you, and the earth always wins. Always. If the planet wants you gone, you're gone. No debate, no appeals, no negotiations. It wipes species out like dust on a windowsill. It doesn't matter how intelligent they were, how advanced, how dominant. Dinosaurs ruled the world for 160 million years. Humans have been here for a blink. And the dinosaurs didn't wipe themselves out with pollution, or politics or bad decision making. They had the earth's respect. And the earth still said, all right, enough of that, and dropped a rock on them the size of Mount Everest. And here we are thinking we're special. The truth is, the earth doesn't even have to TRY to get rid of us. It just has to wait. Let humans ruin their resources. Let them poison their air. Let them deplete their soil. Let them boil their oceans and choke their skies. And eventually, they'll collapse from their own mismanagement. The planet has time. It's not in a hurry. It's been spinning for billions of years, and it'll keep spinning long after humans are gone. Time is the planet's superpower. Patience is its strategy. People think they're saving the planet by recycling a soda can. No, you're buying yourselves a few more years of comfort. That's all. Every environmental campaign is really about preserving human life, not planetary life. Save the oceans means save the water we need to breathe. Save the forests means save the air we depend on. Stop pollution means stop killing ourselves. The earth doesn't suffer from pollution. We do. The earth doesn't die from climate change. We do. The earth doesn't panic when temperatures rise. We do. The planet adapts. Humans panic. Picture this: everything humans build eventually turns into rubble. Every monument, every building, every statue, every highway, every gadget, every piece of art, gone, buried, forgotten, turned back into dust. The earth absorbs everything. Even the plastics and chemicals we think are eternal, they'll break down too. It might take a few thousand years, maybe 1,000,000, but the planet has that kind of time. Humanity doesn't. And nature is efficient after a collapse. Look at what happens when humans leave a place alone. Chernobyl is one of the most radioactive places on Earth. And what happened? The humans left, and nature threw a party. Trees grew, animals thrived, birds returned, wolves ran wild. No humans meant no interference. The earth said, great, they're gone, let's get back to work. It's almost embarrassing how quickly nature heals once we're out of the way. It's like cleaning a room after sloppy house guests. As soon as they leave, you throw out the trash, open a window, and suddenly the place feels alive again. That's Earth's relationship with humans. You want to save the planet? Step aside. That's the secret. The planet doesn't need fixing. It needs space. Humans can't handle that truth, though. Their ego can't take it. They want to imagine themselves as partners with the planet, caretakers, guardians, stewards. But no matter how you dress it up, you're temporary. Earth is permanent. We're like sparks that think they're the fire. All the while, the planet is patient. It's not rushing anything. It's not keeping score. It doesn't sit there stewing about pollution or carbon emissions or oil spills. It just waits. It knows everything humans create, it can erase. Everything humans destroy, it can rebuild. Everything humans ruin, it can replace. There's no grudge, no anger, just inevitability. The planet heals by outlasting us, and it will. One day, the last human will vanish. Maybe it'll be war, or disease, or disaster, or slow decay. Maybe we'll simply fade out, overwhelmed by our own contradictions. And when that day comes, the earth won't cry. It won't celebrate. It won't even notice. It'll just keep spinning, growing, evolving, shifting, bursting with new life. A new species will rise, something smarter or simpler or tougher or stranger, and they'll dig up our remains one day and wonder what wiped us out. And maybe they'll guess. Maybe they'll imagine we were powerful. Maybe they'll imagine we were brilliant. But the truth will still be the same. We weren't destroyed by a failing planet. We were destroyed by thinking the planet needed saving. The planet will clean up just fine after we're gone.